Welcome to the chicken coop at Gale Woods. We're here today to talk about how we hatch our eggs and produce new baby chicks for our flock of layer hens. So the first thing you have to know is that we have a rooster who you can hear crowing. Because that's important, our eggs are fertilized because the rooster is in the coop with all of our hens. And he's very proud of that fact. So he is here in order to fertilize the eggs. He'll mate with a hen, and for about 2 weeks after he's mated with her, she'll lay fertile eggs. So he's able to service all of the hens in our coop. So all of the hens are laying fertile eggs. When we collect them for consumption, we put them right in the refrigerator, so then they never develop into baby chicks, and you can't tell the difference between a fertilized egg and an unfertilized egg. So we're going to collect some eggs that were just laid in the last couple of hours from a hen that we'll assume is laying fertile eggs. So I'm going to reach in this coop and collect an egg from this Brahma hen here, who clearly doesn't want me to take her eggs. She's not being very nice about it, but I will reach under her and I will get some eggs that are here. Now, she didn't lay all 3 of these eggs because she only lays 1 egg a day, but other hens laid them in the same nest box. So I have 3 from that one. I'm going to collect some more eggs here because I have room for 5 more eggs in our incubator. So we're going to take these eggs and set them in our incubator so that they can develop and hatch into baby chicks. Okay, so we have our 5 eggs that we just collected, and they'll need to develop in the incubator for 21 days. It takes 21 days for a baby chick to grow inside the egg before it will hatch into a baby chick. And the incubator has to be a very warm, humid place. So it is 99.9 degrees Fahrenheit and 70% humidity. And those are the ideal conditions for the chick to develop. So I'm only going to open this briefly, and we will add these eggs so that we have a full incubator. Our incubator holds 24 eggs. And in addition to keeping them warm and humid, it also rotates them, which is very important so that the chick doesn't actually sort of get stuck to one part of the egg. And I'll show you how it rotates the eggs. If I push this turning button, you'll hear a little song, and the track underneath the eggs will move, and the little fences will keep the eggs from rolling along, and it will just turn them, and you can see them subtly turning, and that's a really important part of the incubation process. So, as we said, these eggs were just laid today, so this egg does not have a developed chick inside of it. It might be fertile, but we aren't able to tell. As it develops, we'll be able to look through the egg using this candling box, which shines a bright light, and right now it just looks empty. You can see some of the porous holes in the outside of the shell, but there's no baby chick developing in there. As it grows inside the shell, we will come back in maybe a week and we'll look at this egg again and we'll see if it was a fertile egg and if it's developing into a chick. But for now, we'll put this egg in our incubator with the rest of these eggs, and we will come back and check on these eggs in about a week to see if there's a baby chick developing. So check our Facebook page in about a week and we'll come back and revisit these eggs. Welcome back to the incubation station at Gale Woods Farm. It's been 7 days since we put 24 hopefully fertile eggs in our incubator, and today we're going to check the eggs to make sure that they are developing, or to see how many of them are fertile and are developing into baby chicks. Right now our job is just to make sure that the incubator is working properly, so each day we're coming to check that the temperature is still around 100 degrees and that the humidity is at about 70%. And we do have to add water to it to make sure that it continues to maintain that humidity. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water till I see that it's full. There we go. And then I check the temperature and humidity, and things are looking good, and I know that the incubator is still turning the eggs. I can test the turning knob and make sure that the eggs are still being turned. And that little music indicates that that's functioning, and I can see that the eggs are turning properly. So if everything's developing properly at this point, the egg should have an embryo inside of it that weighs about 0.5 grams, which is a very tiny amount. It's about the same amount as this common household hairband. And we know that because we can weigh it on our scale. There's our hairband. Oh, it's coming in at a gram. So actually the embryo inside of our egg will weigh less than this itty bitty tiny hairband. That's not very much at all. So let's check some of our eggs and see if they're developing. Our chickens lay a variety of colored shells. We have white egg layers, brown egg layers, and the Americana, which lays a bluish-green egg. It's difficult to see through some of the colored shells, so we'll start with just a good white egg. This is a nice big one, and we'll put it in our candling box, and we'll see if there is any embryo developing in that egg. Oh, unfortunately, that one looks to be an infertile egg. It's not developing. You can't see anything inside of that egg. It's just clear like it was when we set it in the incubator a week ago. So unfortunately, that one is not developing. Let's check another white egg. Here's one. We'll put that on the candling box and see if it looks any different. Ooh, look at that. It looks quite a bit different. That one looks like it has something developing inside of it. You can see the top of that egg is not allowing the light to shine through. So that means we have an embryo developing in that egg. As it gets bigger, we'll be able to start to see blood vessels and hopefully an eye spot. But right now, that's a pretty tiny embryo, so we really can't see any specific parts of that baby chicken that's developing. So we'll put that back in. Maybe we'll check another one. I don't want to leave it open too long, but we'll check one more. Oh, and that one looks good too. That one also has a nice dark spot at the top of it, so there should be a baby chick developing inside that egg. I don't want to disturb them too much, so we're not going to take any more eggs out of the incubator, but we have 2 out of 3, so that's a good sign that in 2 weeks, another 14 days, we should have some chickens hatching from our incubator. So we'll come back in a week and check them again, and at that point the embryo will be quite a bit larger and we may be able to see some developing parts. Back at the incubation station here at Gale Woods, and it is hatching day. It's been 21 days since we first put our fertilized eggs into the incubator, and so we have chickens, little baby chicks that are hatching from our eggs. And we removed the little slats from the incubator that keep the eggs so they can turn, and now we have some chicks hatching, and you can see a lot of the 24 eggs have already hatched. We have one chick that hatched just a few minutes ago, and you can see it looks like it's still very wet and very tired from the ordeal of hatching. We have another one that is just starting to try to peck its way out. Right here you can just see that egg tooth moving as it tries to peck its way out of that egg. But we're going to remove this one little chick that's hatched and get it over from the incubator to the brooder. It can join some of its companions that have hatched earlier today under the warm heat lamp, and it can get some food and water over here. So we're going to bring it over to the brooder, which is basically just a large tub with a heat lamp, and we will dip its beak in a little bit of water here so it figures out where it needs to go to get hydrated. We'll give it a couple of chances to drink. This little chick looks like it's doing just fine. And then it can join its companions in here. We've put newspaper on the base of this tub so that the chicks don't try to eat the wood shavings that are down there as bedding, and they learn to eat food. These other little chicks have all hatched today. We had about 5 this morning. This little one hatched just a couple hours ago. We'll give it another nice little drink of water. You can see its feathers are still wet and on its back. But these little chicks, you can see fluff up very quickly, and they're doing just fine. We did manage to capture a video of one chick actually hatching from its egg, so we'll share that with you now, and you can enjoy the wonder of a little baby chick emerging from the egg.